What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're really trying to grow the channel. Would appreciate you hitting the subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. We're pumping out 3 videos a week right now, so I definitely want to make sure that you guys get to see all those, and hopefully you can use the information in some of these videos to help you catch more bass. So today we're going to talk about something that I'm pretty passionate about, and that's smallmouth bass fishing. So it's the summertime now. We're in the month of July, so maybe you live up north, or maybe you're taking a trip up north over summer break to get out and catch some big smallmouth. I'm going to give you a few of my favorite baits. These are baits you absolutely must have whenever you go to a smallmouth fishery. Really anywhere up north, whether it's the Great Lakes, St. Lawrence River, St. Clair, anywhere in Michigan, Wisconsin, New York, any of those big smallmouth, really any natural lake up north, these baits right here are going to play, and they're definitely going to help you catch some smallmouth. So let's dive in, and I'll give you a rundown on a few of my favorite baits and even a few sneaky options that you can help use to catch some more smallmouth. Okay, first up, this is no secret right here. This is the good old Ned Rig. So basically you take just a small little jig head, and basically the idea is this bait's going to stand up on the bottom. Whenever he hits down there, he's going to stand up, and it's just a nice little snack for the smallmouth. They absolutely love a Ned Rig. It comes through rock, grass, cover very well, and really you want just a very do-nothing style bait. And another key is you want it to be made of floating plastic. It really helps it stand straight up like that. So this is the Yamamoto Baits Ned Cinco. This is a 3-inch Ned Cinco right here. So it's just a perfect straight tail, little 3-inch worm that is made of straight floating plastic. Now, very key is you want to make sure these get rigged very straight, because that does a couple things. So whenever he is rigged just a little bit crooked, he doesn't want to swim perfectly straight on the fall. So when I cast this bait out, I want him to just kind of fall straight down to the bottom and stand up there. So this is a bait that you're probably throwing at areas that there's fish. You're not really covering water too much with this bait. This is more of a catcher. Once there's fish in an area, you're throwing this guy around and really, utilizing him to throw at areas there's fish. And a lot of times, smallmouth are so curious, whenever your bait hits the water, they already know it's there. So they hear it, they feel it, and they're looking up and see him just come gliding down like this. And when he hits the bottom and stands up like that, they can't resist it. So they pick it up a lot of times on that initial fall. Now, if one doesn't pick it up on that initial fall, I'm giving it a few hops through the targeted zone where I feel like those fish are. And really, I'm not going to fish this bait too slow for smallmouth. I'm fishing this pretty fast. So I'm giving it a few of those hops, make sure it sits on the bottom and stands up for a second, because that really triggers some of those bites that those fish are kind of following it and looking at it. They love when it just stands up right there in their face. And then I'm winding in and doing it again. I'm not really dragging this bait super slow. I'm fishing it very fast. So smallmouth are very aggressive, and that's one way you can almost power fish a Ned Rig and catch some smallmouth. But like I said, getting it rigged up perfectly straight is key, because if he is not perfectly straight, he's going to want to spiral on the way down. And I really don't like that. Some guys prefer that and think that triggers those fish, but for me, I like that straight natural fall where he's just falling straight to the bottom and standing up. Another thing, if he's not rigged perfectly straight, this plastic's kind of going to be off balance. So when he goes to stand up, he's going to be a little bit crooked and he's going to fall over. So I've tested that, in a fish tank, whatnot, and that is super important to have him rigged perfectly straight. So the Ned Cinco is a great option. Now here's another option, a sneaky little alternative to the Ned Cinco that I've really been playing with here lately, and Man, we're giving up some juice here. This is especially for the Great Lakes, that those smallmouth are really feeding in on gobies. You take this guy right here. So this is the Yamamoto scope shad. This is really designed for the Ned Rig technique, the jig head minnow. So it's kind of a rounder profiled body, and he has a forked tail back there. So this is also made of the same floating plastic that the Ned Cinco is. So you can literally take this scope shad and rig him up the same way you would on the Ned Rig. Okay. And now you got a goby profile, just like that. You know, you can kind of see he's a little bit fatter, he's rounder, and he's still made of that floating plastic. So he's gonna stand up just like that and have that forked tail. Man, let me tell you, this little dude right here will flat out catch some big old smallmouth, and especially this color right here. So this is actually a exclusive color at Fish USA. This is Becker's Magic Juice. So if you guys have followed the channel, you've seen I kind of developed this color last year. It was really crucial. I caught most of my big fish the last couple days at Saginaw Bay on this color in the shad-shaped worm. But we got it in the scope shad for the Ned Rig situation. And this right here, this is a sneaky little alternative to your standard Ned Rig worms that will flat out catch some big smallmouth for you. So that's something you definitely want to try. And then, you know, the cool thing about this bait is you can buy a couple packs of these, and now you have an excellent drop shot bait. So you can literally rig him up on a drop shot and have a perfect drop shot bait, and use the same bait on the Ned Rig. So you're really killing two birds with one stone. You can use this same bait for multiple techniques, and you know it's gonna put some big smallmouth in the boat. So don't sleep on the scope shad on a Ned Rig or a drop shot. So next up, I kind of just touched on it, is gonna be the shad-shaped worm on a drop shot. You know, a drop shot is by far the most popular technique for smallmouth. And this bait right here, I mean, this shad-shaped worm, I can't even tell you how many dollars I've won on this bait. I've won more dollars fishing tournaments on this shad-shaped worm than any other bait on the market. Any other bait out there, I've won more money on the shad-shaped worm on a drop shot. So there is really something to it. You know, it's a perfect shape to imitate that bait fish, gobies, perch, whatever those smallmouth are feeding on. You know, it's got this little pintail here. But the cool thing is when you nose hook him on your drop shot and he kind of, you know, follows the weight to the bottom, that tail kind of kicks. You know, it gives it a little shimmy on the way down, and it really looks like a bait fish, a goby, a perch, kind of chasing something to the bottom, and that almost triggers those fish to chase after that and bite. You know, a lot of different drop shot baits kind of spiral and follow the weight down. And again, that's something that I do not like. I want my baits to look as natural as possible and kind of be swimming straight and almost tail kicking. So again, diving in the colors of the shad-shaped worm. So this is the 4-inch shad-shaped worm or 3.75-inch shad-shaped worm. You know, there's a few different sizes now, so it kind of varies in between those. There's a 3-inch version, a 5-inch version, and this one is the 4-inch or the 3.75-inch version. And these are two of my favorite colors. So again, we got Becker's Magic Juice right here, and then Natural Shad imitates, you know, all those small bait fish, perch fry, even some gobies. This guy right here, that is an ideal goby imitator, perch fry imitator. So that's really, you know, if you're noticing a trend here, that's really what you're trying to imitate. A lot of times these smallmouth are feeding on perch, feeding on gobies. So those always have some sort of brown or grayish hue or hint to them. And that's always something you want to do with your colors on your smallmouth baits. All right, so I gave you a few options there, and those are really for more once you've found the fish and you're kind of wanting to slow down. So, you know, if I was giving somebody who'd never smallmouth fish a piece of advice, you're going up north to fish for smallmouth this summer, you've never been up there, my biggest piece of advice would be to pick up a crankbait. So this right here, this is a Bill Lewis MR12. So he's gonna get down to that 12 to 14 foot range. And again, you see we got a perch color. That is, you're noticing a trend here. We're trying to imitate those yellow perch. The smallmouth absolutely love yellow perch. And that's exactly what we're doing again with this crankbait. So basically you pick up this crankbait and you'll cover some of these big expansive flats. You know, a lot of the Great Lakes have a bunch of flat areas, whether it's sand, some rock mixed in. But you can pick up a crankbait and you will get a few bites on the crankbait. And once you get a few of those bites, you can kind of slow down and pick up one of these other baits in that area, and there's gonna be quite a few more fish around. So, you know, the MR12 is an excellent way to just cover water and find those big groups of fish and then kind of slow down, pick them off with a drop shot or a Ned Rig or something like that. So, man, those are some key smallmouth baits right there. I'm gonna throw one more at you. And this is a little specific. So this is more when the smallmouth are pretty shallow. So you're gonna, you know, be on some shallow sand or rock flats. Generally there's some current, you know, I'm thinking St. Lawrence River or even, you know, St. Clair on the shad, or not shad spawn, the mayfly hatch. That's when you're gonna pick up a hair jig. So there's tons of different options out there, bunch of different colors, but you know, I like any sort of brown or black hue. And basically this is a cast and wind retrieve as well. So you cast him out as far as you can and just kind of give him a slow retrieve. And I honestly don't know what the smallmouth think these little hair jigs are, but they absolutely eat them up and they can't stand them. So that's a little bonus one for you guys if you find some fish shallow or you want to fish a little bit shallower water. But these baits right here, I promise you, if you're heading up north, do some smallmouth fishing, pick up a few of these and they will help you catch some more smallmouth for sure. So appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're interested in any of this tackle, check the links in the description down below. There'll be direct links right over to fishusa.com. They have all of these baits and especially this exclusive color. So these are only available at Fish USA, and that's the only place you're gonna be able to get those. And really appreciate all you guys always using the links, clicking the links in the description and buying your tackle from Fish USA. You know, we see it, we appreciate you guys, and Fish USA also sees it and they really appreciate you guys. It's a good way that you guys can help support the channel and support us and support the companies that support us. So we definitely appreciate all you guys for that. Hopefully you guys learned something. Best of luck if you're heading out smallmouth fishing here sometime in the month of July. And I know I'm excited to get up north and reel a few in. So appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you guys next time.